are live. I'm actually multi-streaming this right now, and I'm not liking the YouTube version, but we're multi-streaming this right now, just because I feel this is important. I think everything I do is important. So this is really the Q&A. We're doing the Q&A today. I need those questions. If you are prepared and ready to hear the unadulterated truth, you are definitely in the right place. I'm going to wait for a couple of people to join. Hopefully, if you do join, just put in like the initials of the state that you're coming from. I would definitely appreciate that. Thank you, Ahmad, for joining. Um, yeah, we're talking about something serious here. We're talking about something serious, and we're talking about solutions. Okay. See, many people can talk about the problem until the cows come home. That doesn't hurt anything. What we need to do is we need to talk about the solution. And I think the only way that we can get that clarity is by us asking questions. Okay. So if you have felt stuck in a relationship, which if it's a true loving, caring relationship, you should never have that feeling of being stuck. Okay, you should never have that feeling. As far as I'm concerned, you should never have the feeling of feeling stuck. You should never have the feeling as if you're unsure. That shouldn't really play a part in anybody's relationship. Um, so yeah, that's what we're looking for today. We're looking for questions. Thank you, Ahmad, for joining me. We're looking for questions so that we can get through this, so that we can figure this out together. Okay. So let's start with the most obvious question. Who has ever felt in a relationship that they are stuck? Or not even stuck, kind of confused about the relationship. Hey, Eva, Bruce Wright, GT Onion Doro, and MK Amai, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you guys. What we're talking about, this is a Q&A. Okay, there's questions and answers. Okay, you ask me the question, I give you the answers. However, I'm going to let you know I'm not going to give you any fluff. I'm not going to just give you an answer that I think is going to make you feel comfortable. I'm going to tell you the truth, okay? Because trauma bonds and narcissistic abuse, it's real. It's real. And I think it does nobody any good if we have people that just say that calming thing to make people feel better. I get it. Your nervous system is cray cray. Everything is out of balance right now in your life. But just trying to console you and soothe you about something that is actually harming you, I wouldn't feel right doing that. So I need those questions. I really need your questions so that I can get a better understanding of how I can be of assistance. Let me give you a little bit of background. Okay. I am an ordained minister. Yes, I do curse a lot, but I'm an ordained minister. Um, I run the Church of Real Talk. After I figured out that I was in for the third time, okay, it took the three times, three strikes for me to figure it out. That I was in a domestic narcissistic abusive relationship. I made it my journey. I made it my journey to ensure that other people don't get stuck in these toxic relationships. To make sure that empaths don't become fooled into basically giving their very essence away to what's essentially a demon. So yeah, that's what I do. That's why I get on live every day. And I kind of like this question and answer format because I can talk all day about narcissistic abuse. I've done the research, I've studied it, I've made sure that I've understood it. And I can talk all day about it, but that's not helping many people. Many people might be in the beginning phases of understanding that they're in something that's confusing. That's usually the first sign that you're coming out of the fog, when you actually stop making excuses for your narcissistic abuser and you say to yourself, something's wrong here, something's off here. Who has felt that way? Lane Baby, Roland Wright, Play Pink, Pin Kennels, thank you very much for joining, Norden. And but yeah, put that in the comments. Have you been in a relationship, or are you currently in a relationship that you feel confused? Okay, again, I'll say this often. A real loving, caring, fulfilling relationship should not make you feel confused about your partner. You should never feel as, hey, peace, what's up, Baron? You know, you should never, Supreme, I'm sorry, man, I just read the name. What's up, Supreme? How you feeling? Peace to the God. You know, you should never feel that your partner doesn't have your back. That by default kind of takes away the meaning of relationship. And yes, I get it. Many people go through ups and downs in their relationship. They do. But if you're feeling stuck, meaning that you know something's wrong and you feel that you should get away, then something is wrong with that relationship. And you might find yourself, you might understand at some point that you might be in a narcissistic relationship. Now, I say this often. I say this often. Thank you all for joining. You know what? Do me a favor. Why do you believe that we must earn our salvation? I'm not talking about that today. I'm talking about narcissistic abuse, but thank you for your question. Um, yeah, so I tend to find that when people get to that point where it just seems wrong, they get to that point where they feel that they can't trust their partner. They get to that point where they say, you know, why does it feel like my partner? Again, I use that word to highlight the fact that you think that you're in a relationship. Okay. And when you think that the other person or the other party is on the same page with you. Am I right? You think, hey, what's up? Tex and Martin, thank you. And Teresa, you know, you think that you're on the same page. You're reading from the same storyline. We're going to support each other. We're going to grow together. We're going to be that power couple. We're going to be that team. But when you start feeling like you're the team by yourself, you're struggling to make this person not only get back to the person that you met in the beginning of the relationship, but make this person understand that you actually care about them. To make that person actually understand, hey, listen, I care about you. I want the best for us. Most people past the age of 25 do not embark on a relationship to play games. They don't. You know, they want to build something solid. They want to build something real. And when you feel that what you have is not solid, what you have is not real, how do you feel? You feel hurt. You feel devastated. And if you're an empath, all you do is you're running around with duct tape and electrical tape and band-aids, and you're trying to fix the problem. However, the person on the other side of the problem is taking full enjoyment of you going out of your way trying to fix something that they have no intent on fixing. They don't. They don't want to give an iota of what you're giving to that relationship. Thank you very much, Omnipotent Queen. Thank you so much for the roses. I appreciate you. So yeah, this is why I do the question and answer, because we all find ourselves at different stages. Again, I've gone through this. I understand this. You will find yourself at a stage where first it becomes something feels really wrong here. And then it comes all the way to the fact that you recognize that, wow, this is what I've been dealing with the whole time. Again, that usually falls on survivors like a ton of bricks. It falls on most survivors. It's like, I've been giving my all to this man, or I've been giving my all to this woman, and they were just playing in my face. They never had any intent on making this relationship work at all. They never had any intent on helping us grow as a team. I remember there was a time, like, well, it's been going on for the last 2 years, where people put up early pictures of Barack and, you know, Michelle Obama. when they were first coming through the ranks while they were in college. And they would show pictures of them sitting on the couch studying, not much in, I guess, worldly things at this stage. You wonder why you stayed when there was no effort. Of course, omnipotent queen. And this, we would look at those pictures and we'd say to ourselves sometimes, that's a power couple. That right there is a power couple. That's where I want my relationship to be at, for the long haul. For the long haul. Oh, okay. So you didn't make senator this time. You know what? I'm staying by your side. Listen, it's do or die till the wheels fall off, as the kids say. I'm with you. I'm by your side. See, to me, that is the very definition of a relationship. That is the very, very definition of a relationship. No matter what's going on, if the person cares about you, they're going to be there for the highs, of course, and then they're going to be there for the lows, because that's what a relationship is about. Not with the narcissist. That doesn't figure into the narcissist game plan at all. Okay? Yeah, they'll stick around for the highs as long as it benefits them. They will always be there for the highs as long as it benefits them. But the lows, you will find in a narcissistic dynamic that your partner will actually wash their hands of you. Your partner will make it very clear, hey, that's your problem. You got to fix that. I'm not going to help you fix that. Your narcissistic partner will make you feel like you're a loser. Oh, this is happening to you. It's happening to you because you're not worth shit. But during the highs, they are there. They are there as long as they're benefiting. And then there comes a stage, because again, we look at the dynamic of, hey, listen, this is my partner. This is my soulmate. At least that's how they presented themselves in the beginning. That's how they presented themselves. They're your soulmate. They are the person that you've been looking for forever. There comes a time in that relationship where it gets even more confusing, because your wins become an issue. Who is actually going through that? Who is going through that stage where your wins, the fact that you're winning, you're in a relationship, a committed relationship, as far as you're concerned, with this person. And every time you have a win, this person is going to go out of their way to diminish it, to diminish you, to make it seem like, or sometimes they'll just come out and say, people do that every day. They're not going to celebrate your wins. They're not going to celebrate your accomplishments, because it does nothing. Hey, James, thank you for joining. Bonnie, thank you for joining. And Judy Joylight. I think I've seen you here before. But yeah, so they're never going to celebrate your wins. And that becomes a red flag. That actually becomes a red flag. Put it in the comments if you've experienced this. If you've been with someone that you consider to be your partner, they're your partner. Whether you're married, engaged, long-term relationship, it doesn't matter. This is your partner. Have you ever felt that your wins were a problem? Because the way I felt was, if I won, we both won. It was a win for the team. The quarterback doesn't go dancing and say, no, I won the Super Bowl. Nobody helped. I won the Super Bowl all by myself. That's not teamwork. When you think about it, is that really teamwork? In the narcissist mind, that's the way it goes. Either I'm winning, but if you're winning, that causes a narcissistic injury. The reason why that causes an injury to them is because they truly believe that they are superior to everyone. They believe that they are entitled to everything. You, on the other hand, you're beneath them. So how can you get this win? And then you'll soon find that this relationship has become a competition, just like that team in the Super Bowl that I talked about. This is the opposition. You will start to get that feeling in these relationships. Like, why are we competing? Why can't we work together? Why can't we do like most people in relationships do and help ourselves grow as a unit? As that unstoppable couple. I see a lot of creators on TikTok that are basically couples, and they work together. And one of the things that I always say to myself is, in hindsight, I would have done anything. I would have done anything for this other person to get to that stage. But I quickly noticed the red flags started coming out. If they couldn't be the center, if they couldn't take credit for it, if it couldn't be their thing, oh no, I'm not going to help you do nothing. I had that happen in my first narcissistic relationship. Again, I didn't learn this stuff until the third time. This person actually told me one time, I'll never forget. I showed them how they can get free products. This is way before TikTok Shop. This is like decades ago. I showed them how companies can give them free products for them to review. My husband used to like to say, you, we, yeah, yeah, yeah. They do speak French, because when you're having a win, they take it. You could get a promotion at your job. They helped you get that, because they can't stand by and let you take the win. And when we actually look at how most people view a relationship, I can't say my viewpoint of a relationship is ever going to be the same as anybody else's viewpoint. But I think at my age, you see this right here. I think at my age, I want something that's lasting. I want my partner to be committed to me. I want to be committed to my partner. I want us to grow. See, that's how I view a relationship. And if you think that way, and you think or feel that you've been in a narcissistic abusive relationship, that's the reason why. Because this is how empaths think. They think it's us. We're together. It's me and you against the world, no matter what happens. It's me and you against the world. The narcissist will never feel that way. They won't. No matter how much you try. But as an empath, guess what? You're going to try. Many people stay stuck in these narcissists, that feeling of feeling stuck in a relationship. You should go. You don't belong there. And understand that this is unhealthy for you. But you keep on trying. You keep on trying. And this person, like I said, it's like they're sitting up there eating popcorn going like this. Yeah, keep on. Yeah, I love the fact that you're trying. More supply. Keep on trying. We as empaths become hurt once we realize what we've been dealing with. Have you been hurt in a narcissistic relationship? Have you figured it out? What questions came to your mind? What questions, if you have questions right now, where are you at with this? Where are you at with this? Because I want to help. I don't want to thank you so much for the likes of Nipper the Queen. I appreciate you. I want to be that person that can be of assistance. That's what the Church of Real Talk was actually built on. That was the foundation. I believe that the chosen and empaths should be of assistance to the rest of the world. And one thing that I noticed, the first thing that I noticed about narcissistic abuse, once I came out of fog, once I healed, once I got a sense of self back, the person that I was, like I always say, at least the day before I met the narcissist, once I got that back, I actually sat for a long time and I thought and I thought and I thought. And I said to myself, how can I help somebody else get out of this? Because it's like watching someone go to touch a hot stove and you don't say anything. So I felt I need to say something. People are not ready to admit they are in need of help. You are right. You are right, Omnipotent Queen. And the reason why I do these lives, because I understand it. Because when I came out, when I got free, and I started to go through the trauma bond, when I couldn't figure out why I kept on thinking about this person, even though I knew for a fact that this person hurt me, even though I knew to just 100% that this person never had my best intention in mind. Yeah, I didn't want to admit it. How do you go tell someone who has not experienced this or understand the dynamic that this involves? How do you explain to them what you went through? How do you explain to someone, yeah, I stayed 7, 8 years in this relationship with this person, and the last 7 years was hell. The last 7 years was hell. How do you explain that to a person? Because people that have not gone through this, they're going to do a couple of things. Well, why didn't you say something sooner? Or if they've actually been privy to the narcissist smear campaign, they're going to say, oh, I can't believe that they would do something like that to you. You know, or they will tell you, my favorite, I say this all the time is, yo, go find another one. They're toxic. Get over it. But they don't, out of comfort of familiar. Yes, we become familiar in the dynamic of being with this is why people stay stuck, because the pattern that you are being introduced to is so uh it's crazy. It's crazy. You're given intermittent reinforcement. You get extreme highs that are followed by extreme lows, and your body, your nervous system starts to wait. It's an addiction. You start to wait for those highs. You are literally walking on eggshells saying it's got to come around soon. I know it's got to come around soon. So you stay stuck in it. This is why people get stuck. And I don't know if you realize this, but there's a narcissistic dynamic in many workplaces. Okay. And many people stay in that dynamic and it doesn't raise any red flags because they're going through the shit at home. They're not understanding that this is a power play. You're in the middle of a power struggle. This person is making. Thank you for the lights. I I love it. And I love what you're saying. You made the excuse that it was for the children. That's another thing that we do, and thank you for bringing that up and highlighting that, because again, we're looking. If you're an empath, you've been with this narcissist for a while, and yeah, you got kids with them. Okay, just par for the ranch. During those love bombing stages, you found time to make some kids. And more than likely, you don't regret the children because you love your children, but you regret the fact that you brought them into the world with the narcissist. Okay. Um, but many people stay for that dynamic. In fact, the narcissist will gaslight them into thinking that they know that you want to abandon them, but they will tell you that you're abandoning your children. If you start speaking about the fact that you're not happy and that you want to leave, the narcissist will actually, again, the narcissist sees everything as either you are something that I can use or you're useless. This is what their supply is based on. So if the child serves a purpose, sometimes it's to keep you in that relationship. Because to the narcissist, you're still good supply. They can't have you go anyplace. It's not like they love the children. They love the fact that they can keep you around. They can use the children as a form of control over you. Okay, and this is why people go through these high conflict custody battles and divorces where children are concerned. Because I can guarantee you a good 75%. Yeah, some of these people are batshit crazy. I'll agree to that. But there are some people that this is a form of control. And they manipulate the court system because, again, I talked about this yesterday. You have to remember the narcissists were created at an early age. They spent most of their teenage and young adult years mastering this art of manipulating people. This is why people say narcissists can't really see a therapist, because their first instinct is to manipulate that person. This is what they do. And when they run into, they've learned all of the tricks. They are better than a CIA agent. Yes, court is added stress, and I think I should talk about that on the live. There is a way that you can get through it. Oh, trust me, there's a way you can get through it. It's basically the narcissist. Anybody that's been to court with a narcissist due to a divorce or a custody battle, there's one thing that you're going to learn. The narcissist has been doing data collection during that whole situationship. They have been typing in stuff about you, and I'm talking about their brain. They've learned everything about you because you gave it up freely because you thought that you were in love. You felt that you had found your soulmate. So you gave it up freely. Okay. What they do is they use that against you. That's where reactive abuse comes from because the narcissist actually knows the right button to push to get you to act out. They know the exact, but they don't even have to guess because you told them. You told them the things that make you feel bad. You told them the things that make you feel angry. You told them about the people that said the wrong thing to you and how that made you feel. They're going to use that against you. That is now part of their war chest. Thank you so much for the lights, Omnipotent Queen. That is part of their war chest. Okay, they're going to use that against you like a weapon. So that's what reactive abuse comes from. You're sitting out there in a public place, be it a party, a function, a store, in the park, wherever, and they're going to do something so simple. They're going to push that button and they're going to do it quietly so that nobody else knows what the hell they just did. And then when you react, they're just going to go like this. See, they're unstable. No, you're not unstable. You just did what most human beings would do. Your feelings were hurt. You were disrespected. A boundary was crossed. You're going to react. However, part of breaking free from the trauma bond is understanding that you no longer let this person push your buttons. I don't care what information that they have from you. I don't care what they've collected. They're going to try. And when you get in court, trust me, they're going to try. They need that reaction, not only to fulfill their needs of control over you, but to make you look like the unstable individual that they have been painting you as before you or they even got out of the relationship. It's important that they do that because it leaves them where they are squeaky clean. Can't blame me for nothing. Not my fault. Nope. It was all them. In fact, you see how they acted on this day, this time, this hour. That's what they want to do, and most people don't realize that. And you walk into a courtroom and you hear somebody whispering something. Is she talking about me? Is he talking about me? And you blow up. The judge doesn't. The court system is not built based on understanding manipulation. Yes, sometimes they get caught at it. Sometimes they do get caught at it. But 99% of the time they get away with it. They've been practicing this their whole life. Longer than probably that person that's sitting on the bench. Longer than probably if it's a child thing, the counseling that they're going to. This is what they've been doing. Don't get that twisted. The same way they manipulated you into thinking that you were their soulmate and they were your soulmate, if they could do that to you, what do you think they can do to a person that really doesn't know them? Think about that for a second. This is why people get stuck in these dynamics, because you are essentially walking through life on this thing that I call tilt. You can't do anything. It's like a pinball machine. You know, you hit the cabinet too hard, the ball rolls down and says tilt. In other words, it's telling you there's nothing else you can do. You're not going to get any more points. And this is where you are. Thank you so much for the hearts, you know. But I need some questions from you guys. I need some questions from you guys because I'm not doing this for me at this stage. I'm not trying to be cocky and I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not doing this for me. Like I said, this is part of my mission. This is part of what I do. I don't want to see anybody. If I come in contact with a person and I feel that something's off, I'm not going to try to ruin your relationship, you know, because sometimes you become the enemy. You're trying to help your family member. You're trying to help your friend. And you become the enemy by speaking up. What I want to do is just give people clarity. Make the decision on your own. I don't need to be responsible. Make the decision on your own. I think people miss that. They see these lives, they see these creators, and if you have a narcissist in your life, they will say things like, oh, they're just messing up people's relationships. Oh, they're just messing up people's lives. No, they're Sharing. I'm happy it's coming from a man because most people don't listen to women. They don't. And all forms of abuse and the covert narcissist that is a female uses that to their advantage. It's just the way that society is built. The female covert narcissist uses that to their advantage. They play the victim because they know that when it comes to, I guess, issues of abuse or issues of wrongdoing within the relationship, be it physical or mental, you know, many women find it's really hard to get people to understand. But when it's mental abuse, whether you're a man or a woman, it really doesn't matter. People still find it hard to latch on unless they have gone through it. And then, what hurts even more? And I'm going to tell you, luckily, I didn't fall into this trap. What happens is they get discredited because they go back. They go back, and they don't go back because they're weak. They don't go back because they don't have logic. They don't go back because they don't know what has been happening to them. They go back is because they've been brainwashed. They have been conditioned to believe because once you leave the relationship, this is why people miss them. This person treated you like complete crap. You know this. You have recordings, you have stuff that you wrote down, you've got voice memos. This person treated you like crap. So why do you want to go back? The reason why you want to go, thank you so much, Chosen. Like, I appreciate you for those likes. Thank you. The reason why you go back is because your body has been conditioned and what you're going through is withdrawal. And the reason why many people end up going back is they don't give themselves enough space, enough distance to heal. They don't. They don't go no contact. No contact doesn't mean that you don't reach out to them, but you continue to scroll their social media. That's not no contact. No contact does not mean, I'll only call them once a week. That's not no contact. No contact does not mean, our mutual friends, I'll ask about them, and ask them how they're doing. That's not no contact. You have to decide at some stage if you want to heal or you want to do like most people that have actually endured, abusive relationships. You're going to go back about 7 times on the average. And that sucks. Thank you for the likes, Chosen. I appreciate you. I definitely appreciate you, Chosen. But yeah, who wants to go back 7 times? It makes you into like a career soldier. You finish one enlistment and you jump on for another one. And the risk and the pain is still there, but you want to make this into your career. This person is hurting you. They're making it clear that they're going to hurt you. There is no doubt, no question. This person's main goal is to hurt you, much less destroy you. And you're signing up for another tour. How do you think that turns out when you go back? Put it in the comments. How do you think when you go back to your abuser? I don't care if it's physical or emotional or mental. When you go back to your abuser, how do you think it turns out? What happens? Somebody put a question up in the upper feed. What happens when you constantly attract narcissists? What happens is, and that's a very good question. Thank you very much. What happens is you're an empath. This is why I always say I've been in 3 of these. Okay, I have been in 3 totally narcissistic relationships. You are an empath. You care. And they use that to their advantage. The narcissist knows that you're special. Okay? Because the empath always wants to fix the problem. The empath always believes that the person, especially people that are close to them, have potential. Okay? They believe that people have potential, especially those people that they've accepted into their life. When the narcissist flips the script in a very subtle way at first, you're already hooked. You're already hooked. And if you don't heal, if you don't get clarity, if you don't start to understand the dynamics, what is going to happen? And thank you, Ursula Webb Sumler. Sorry about that. That's what's going to happen. Until you get clarity, until you understand what has been going on, you will keep on finding yourselves in these narcissistic, detrimental to your health and well-being relationships. Okay, you've got to understand what is happening. You keep, and I'm not trying to shame anyone by saying this. I'm never going to shame anybody because, like I said, I went through it. I got caught up in it. Okay, so yeah, my goal is, oh, thank you for the roses. My goal is not to shame anybody in this. My goal is to help people understand. Once you get clarity, once you break free, once you get out of the trauma bond, the narcissist actually left you with a gift. You'll never unsee this shit again. Your radar, your spidey sense will start tingling the minute you come in contact with another narcissist because you already know the patterns, you know the trends. You know, you will always attract them. Thank you, chosen elect. You will always attract them, but once you understand what they are, you know, a little kid does not know what a panther is. You know, you take a little 2-year-old, they don't know what a panther is. To them, it's a big cat. And they probably got a cat in their house. But once they get older and they understand that this is a panther and this can hurt me, they know what to do. I'm going to stay away from the panther. If I'm at the zoo, I'm not going to put my hands in the cage. That's a panther. If I'm out on safari, I'm not going to find myself where a panther is hunting me because now I have a natural and healthy fear. We don't have to use panther. We can use the iron. We can use all the things that kids come to understand that makes them safe as they grow up. That's the same thing that happens once you get clarity on what you actually went through. And I say this every freaking live. The only way you're going to get clarity is you accept the fact that you got bamboozled. You accept the fact that there was never any hope or potential in this working. It's hard. It's hard because you spent a lot of time there. You spent a lot of time in that. You gave so much of yourself. You gave until it hurt. But you've got to come to the realization that, okay, this was never real. This was an illusion from the beginning. And there's nothing wrong with that. Again, not trying to mess up people's relationships, not trying to make people feel as if, you know, everybody that doesn't agree with them is a narcissist. All I'm saying is get clarity and do your research. Do your research. Yeah, I've got courses. I've got free audio books. You know, it takes nothing. If your piece is important to you, it takes nothing to listen to an audiobook for 40 minutes. You can do that on a commute to work or maybe the commute to work and back from work. Yes, I am an empath and I call them out on the BS and they still try to come back. Well, only you. There's this universal concept that I believe in. It's called choice. Okay. And thank you very much for what you said, Ursula. I call it choice. Okay. And we all have it. We definitely all have it. But to make the correct choice, we need information. Okay. The narcissist, first of all, they're basically different sides of the same coin. I'm going to go into that in a different live. Okay. I'm going to explain that. Okay. But they're like flip sides of the same coin. So the narcissist, due to them just needing to keep their shame down, they're like on some emergency mission. They're like on a mission. I'm not going to survive if this shame comes back up. So they're very proactive. Okay. So they seek out narcissists. They seek out empaths. And the reason why they seek out empaths is because they know what you are. They just listen to a few words. You say hello to them. You find them attractive. You find them handsome. You say hello to them. You know, then the conversation, it kicks off. They're studying you. And there's certain things that you will say, they'll ask you certain questions that will lock in the fact that you are an empath. Then it's game on. So they're always going to, hey, what's up, Big Ike? So they're always going to seek you out. I said this in yesterday's live. After all the manipulation, after all the lies, after all the love bombing through their early years of life, they have found out that the empath is their slot machine. And it's a hot slot machine. Every time you press that button to pull that handle, you're winning. So that's what they look for. That's what they need. Because the empath will keep on giving. That's like supply, supply, supply. I can always trigger this person's emotions because they care. I can always make this person feel on tilt because all I have to do is wait for the right time and then love bomb them. I can make this person let down their guards by mirroring them. Every live I say this. When you see yourself presented to you, the person in front of you that is copying just the way you stand, the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you structure your sentences, your pauses, all that stuff. If you speak fast, you speak slow. This person, and then on top of that, you say you like something, they like it, they've been liking that for years. Excuse me. This person has found a way to make your radar go down. They have found a way to make you not be fearful, to make sure that you don't see those red flags, because who sees a red flag in themselves? Hey, Michelle, Steve, thank you for joining. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. But yeah, thank you, Marcella, for that question. But yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. You know, the narcissist knows what you are, and you are like, you're like caviar to them. Okay, if you like caviar. I'm not a big fan of fish eggs, but if you like caviar, that is, hey, hello, thank you for joining me. I appreciate you. But yeah, so yeah, they know that you're an empath, and if you don't know that you're an empath, they know just from the conversation, just from the data collection that you are. One of the things that stands by me is what my grandmother used to say to me. Sometimes people know your potential before you do. There are so many people on this earth that have a purpose, okay, and they just don't believe that they have a purpose. They think that I'm supposed to go to work and come home and go to work and come home. But I think, and this is another part of what the Church of Real Talk is about. I believe that everybody has a purpose. Even the narcissist has a purpose. Sometimes the narcissist makes us into stronger individuals once we break free and get clarity. There was a time period before I got free that I actually thought that I had been tasked to experience this. And in a way, I thought so. I thought so because my first urge was to educate other people. So I just kind of said, maybe that's what I'm here to do. Maybe that's maybe I had to go through all of this pain. Maybe that's why I went through it 2 times before. Maybe that's why I went through. Thank you, chosen elect. Why I went through it 2 times before, because maybe the first thing I didn't even understand what it was. Maybe the first 2 times, the universe was like, you are just not freaking getting this. Okay, let me put this one here. Okay, I've watched this one. This one is actually this one. Either they're going to destroy you or you're going to lift yourself up. I lifted myself up. And then, I started thinking as I was building the now movement, as I was moving forward, the now movement, I started feeling like this feels good to be able to be of assistance to someone else, to help someone else see what I couldn't see at first. So yeah, I feel that all people, they have a purpose. The narcissist, I mean, if you look at any religious text, it seems like jinns, demons, evil spirits, they're just there to tempt you. But it all boils down back to the front of the ranch, choice. It all boils down to choice. And many people, I think because they become more comfortable in the dynamic and they don't know anything else, because they've been stuck in this shit for like the last up teen years. They think that, and the narcissist will tell you all relationships work like this. No, they don't. No, they don't. You've been going through a relationship where they tell you something, you're going, okay, okay, if you say so. They're telling you, they're gaslighting you and thinking, well, I speak to this person and this is normal. It took me a while to catch on, like, why you don't even speak to me? Why are you speaking to someone else, about this relationship? You don't even speak to me about this relationship. So how are you speaking to somebody else about this relationship? See, these are the red flags that we tend to ignore because we are trying to fix the problem. We're literally trying to fix the problem and we're killing ourselves. Your health is going down. You can't think straight. You're constantly in a mental fog and you're in a fog from them. You always have questions about why is this happening, but you can't get any freaking answers. So you say, you know what? I can fix them. Just give me a little bit more time. I can fix them. I can make them come back around because you're chasing something that you saw in the beginning, and in the beginning, none of it was real. Not one iota of it was real. And this is why it becomes so hard for people to get out. Just like that movie, Get the Hell Out. It seems like everything's freaking against you. You can't tell if people are on your side or not on your side, just like in that movie. Nobody wants to listen to something that you know to be a fact. Nobody wants to listen. Nobody wants to believe you. And that makes survivors feel bad. That makes them want to shut up. That makes them not want to tell their truth, which helps the narcissist get away and do this again without anybody interfering from it. They know what they're doing. It, I say this so much. This is not a mental disorder where they have no clue what they're doing. This is not a mental disorder where there's voices speaking to them. They know exactly what they're doing at all times because the goal is to keep that shame down. And they can't have you get in the way of that. Either you give them supply or you don't give them supply. If you don't give them supply, they're going to discard you. Okay? They're usually discarding you in the middle of the relationship when you're trying super hard. That's why you feel the need to try super hard because they're grooming another supply. The narcissist never, I said this yesterday. Stop thinking that you're the only supply. Stop thinking because they don't care about you. You serve a purpose. You are a construct in their mind. So why would you think that they don't have a whole foot army behind them of people that they can jump back and forth from? Whenever the disrespect, whenever the devaluation, whenever that gets super intense, it's because they want to be with that new supply or new supplies. And this is another thing that hurts survivors so much when they figure out the whole there's other supply thing. I get it. It does hurt. But you can take away the sting if you understand one thing. The narcissist does not look at intimacy the way you do. They look at intimacy as an ends to a means, okay, or a means to an end. That's how they look at it. They look at it as a means to an end because it's going to get them supply. So if by giving of themselves, first of all, you're crossing a boundary in your present relationship and, doing things that, hey, just leave if you don't want to be with me. They don't look at it that way. That means that they can reflect. And every mental health document says that they can't reflect. And then, of course, they feel entitled. They feel that they should be able to do this whenever they want. So, yeah, once you let go of that ghost, trust me, things become easier because that's what makes many of us angry. That's what makes many survivors angry when they finally come to the conclusion like this person's been playing in my face the whole freaking time. This person even though they have a lot of shame, you're saying to yourself, this person has no shame. They just out in the open and lying to me about it. Yeah, once you understand that the act is not the way that you look at the act is a transaction. Everything with a narcissist is transactional. Can you idolize me? Can you admire me? Can you make me feel powerful? Can you make me feel superior to you? That's what they want. So whatever it takes to get that, they're willing to do. They'll come get in the shower and get in bed with you. Sometimes not even get in the shower. They'll get in the bed with you like nothing happened. Because in their mind, nothing did happen. All they did was go get supply. That's what their life is based on. Go get supply. So once you understand that, I think it makes everything just a little bit more palatable. It keeps people from crashing out, as the kids would say. Because at the end of the day, let's say you do crash out. Let's say you go beat this chick's butt or you go beat this guy's butt. Let's say you do that. Well, you're probably going to get arrested. It doesn't matter. You're probably going to get arrested, okay? Do you think that the narcissist cares that you got arrested? Do you? See, these are the questions that we need to ask ourselves when we are trying to figure out why we are confused. Thank you, Chosen Elect, for those likes. I appreciate you. These are the questions that we have to ask when we are confused. Does this person think like me? Is this person on the same page that I am? Does this person really think that this is a relationship? That's once you start answering those questions, and the answers will come to you kind of quick because you're asking them, you're forcing the logic side of your brain to start working. It makes you want to stop trying that hard. It does. It makes you want to stop trying. Um, and I get it as an empath. That's what you've been doing most of your life, trying to make people feel happy, trying to make people feel comfortable, trying to make sure that people understand you. Yeah, I get it. That's what you've been doing most of your life as an empath. But this person doesn't. They don't deserve that from you because they have no intent on returning that energy back at all. The narcissist will watch you go to jail. The narcissist will watch you. The narcissist will watch you go broke. They will watch you lose your business. They will watch you lose everything. Everything. And they won't care. They will literally act like you don't exist. And they're going to help the process along the way because that makes them feel superior. Just like they couldn't celebrate your wins, okay, they can celebrate your losses. They will always celebrate your losses. Do you know why? Because it makes them feel superior to you. So, yeah, they will help you destroy yourself. As long as you're stuck in the fog, as long as you're listening to what they say to you, as long as you think that they have your best interests in mind, oh, yeah, shit. They'll help you destroy yourself in a heartbeat. They'll destroy your credit. They'll destroy your finances. They'll destroy anything. Anything because it makes them feel superior to you. You got to remember that superiority thing is like number 9, and I think it's number 9. Yeah, it's number 9 in the DSM-5. Okay, that's very important to them. That is very important. I like to share personal stories of what I went through. It felt like in the last like 3 years before the end, it felt like I was living with someone that was playing that song by the Alcoholics. Anything you can do, I can do better. To myself, I'm saying this is not a competition. We're talking about things that I've been doing basically my whole life or most of my adult life. They're making it clear. Anything you can do, I can do better. And if I can't do it better than you, I know somebody that does. This, you know what? It's crazy because in hindsight, everybody in this chick's family had a master's degree in something that we were discussing. No, I'm dead serious. I am dead serious because it really became anything you can do, I can do better, or I know somebody else that can do it better than you. I'm sitting up here and I'm like, okay. By the way, I know their family at this stage. And I'm like, everybody has a master's degree. How does that happen? In every subject that I talk about. And those few times, like we're watching something or, there's something educational being discussed, something like that, it would become, I would just say, what's your viewpoint on this? It's a problem. Oh, you're testing me. You don't believe me. You think you know everything. Yeah, because I caused a narcissistic injury. That wasn't my intent. But that's what I'm saying. Once you start to see the dynamic, the red flags start going full mast. Either they knew about it or they didn't know about it. And if you asked them about it, then you were testing them. We can't have discourse. We can't have a conversation. When did that change? Because I thought we were in a relationship. Isn't that what people do? They have conversations. Everything begins with a conversation. Maybe you can teach me something. That wasn't the case. That wasn't the case. And I'm going to tell you something. And I know there's a flying monkey watching. Due to their need to feel superior, that they can do everything better than everybody else, somebody almost lost their life. They're sitting there, oh yeah, I've been doing this for years. I know this. I used to teach this, that, and the other. It happened. If I didn't step in, there would have been a black suit on me the next week. I'm glad that I was there, because if I had went to the store or something, it would have been too late. But yet and still, just the week before, this person was going, oh yeah, I know how to do this. Oh, you're not the only one that knows about medicine. I know about medicine. I've been doing this. And here, let me show you. This is the correct way to do it. When it happened, when it literally happened, I'm like pushing them up because they're panicking. Get out of my way so I can take care of this. But everything I can do, you can do better. And I'm not using that as a way to slander that person, but I'm just trying to highlight how it can become, you never experienced that. Well, that's cool. A lot of people don't experience many of these things, Supreme. I'm answering another thing. A lot of people don't experience these things. Okay. And that's why I tell people I'm not here to ruin anybody's relationship. I'm just trying to give people the facts of what actually goes on in a narcissistic dynamic. One of those dynamics, and I think I need to speak about this more, I've talked about the workplace dynamic, because if you have a person that's over you that you can never do anything right, they're constantly moving the goalposts. They're gaslighting you by giving you a task and then saying, no, I never said that. They can never communicate by email because that leaves a paper trail. So everything is by phone or face to face. And you feel uncomfortable. And you say, this is a hostile work environment. This is hostile. Usually when you look at a hostile work environment, not every work environment, but when you look at a hostile work environment, you're dealing with a narcissistic dynamic. Okay, you're looking at a person that needs to be admired and to have control over people. Okay, we've all had those jobs where we just can't figure out why does this person just dislike me? I'm here to do a job and go to freak home. I'm not trying to make friends. I'm not trying to be popular. I'm not trying to take their place. I just want my paycheck. Okay, and they make it so miserable. They talk about you. If you do something, all of a sudden they've got to take credit for it. Okay, that's a narcissistic dynamic. Again, the DSM-5 people should print that out, put that in their pocket, and look at it. Just like Ursula said, and even you, Supreme, you should print this out. It's free. It's online. Just type in any search engine, DSM-5. Okay, and you will see the things that define what narcissistic abuse is, or rather, what traits that narcissists have that have narcissistic personality disorder. Hey, Scotty, what's up? So yeah, you people should just print that out, okay? Because that keeps me from being the bad guy because someone latched on to one point that I said, and they go back home and tell their partner, you're a freaking narcissist because you do that one thing that he talked about all the time. You do that to me all the time, so you're a narcissist. No, sometimes people just don't have good social skills. Sometimes people just are kind of toxic. Sometimes people have small dysfunctions. It happens. It's the way the world is. So that's why it's important that people get clarity and don't, no matter what the creative. That's what I did. I binge watched so many creative videos. I binge watched Carl Jung stuff. I would go to sleep listening to Carl Jung audiobooks. I just did a lot. Because I wanted to be sure, because once again, being an empath, I held on to hope. I held on to the fact that I can bring this person back that I knew in the beginning. And then after all that research and all that clarity, I was like, oh shit, that's not happening. It's time to take this to the next level. I gotta plan my freaking escape. So another dynamic that I have to talk about before I get off is the black sheep of the family. You have a person that is being tortured by everybody in their freaking family because they won't sign off on the dysfunction. They won't. That's the only reason why they get treated that way. That's why they get ostracized. That's why people feel that their family doesn't love them. This is why family members smear their own family. They go out there and talk about them like dogs. This is why no matter how much you help anybody else in the family, if you need help tying your shoe because you got a back brace on, they can't do it for you because you didn't agree to sign on for the dysfunction. So once again, we're looking at a narcissistic dynamic. Okay, once you see 5 of those criterion that you see in the DSM-5, you're looking at a narcissist. There's 9 of them. Okay, the DSM-5 says, hey, if you hit 5 of them, you're probably a narcissist. Good chance, 99.9% that you have narcissistic personality disorder. That's what I tell people. Print it out and keep the shit in your pocket. You don't know. You really don't know, if you're sitting in a family dynamic, because we have been taught all our lives that family is important, family should be there for you. But when you have toxicity, the family is more concerned with how the neighborhood or the town or the city sees them. That's what they're concerned about. They're not concerned with your feelings. They're concerned about the mask. They want people to see them. Hey, that's that family over there. They'll stand up. They'll watch you lay in a pool of blood and go run in the house to get somebody at the corner store that got a paper cut. They'll run to get them Band-Aids because that's how the mask works. You, the scapegoat, don't care about you. But the people outside this house, on the other side of this door, we care everything about. Because we've got to make these people think that we are good-natured people. We've got to make sure that these people don't think that we are truly dysfunctional. So yeah, they gaslight. If I understand, there's sometimes some people have fractured family. I even got kind of a fractured family, but I love my family. Fractured, but I love them. Okay. I couldn't sit back and watch anything happen to my family or a family member. However, when you start to see that the way these people are acting based on the DSM-5, you'll see that the mask is always more important to them. Not your well-being, not your understanding, not the fact that you are part of it, you got the same blood flowing through your veins. You've got to be stopped. And they will smear your name. They'll go out in the neighborhood and talk to the random person in the grocery store. Oh, my son. Don't even talk about him. He can't even keep out of jail. Such a disappointment. Such a disappointment to me and mine. That's a smear campaign. Who does that to their own family member, to a complete stranger sometimes? So yeah, that's a narcissistic dynamic, and the same rules apply. You got to get out. I get it. Sometimes there's a family gathering, there's a family dinner, there's Thanksgiving, there's some holiday that you celebrate. Okay. And you don't want to go. Do you ever try to decipher why you don't want to go? Is it because it is so stressful? Is it because that you really don't feel these people care about you? Is it because every time you're there, somebody's throwing a dart at you to make you feel less than what you truly are? Someone's always criticizing you. Someone is always thrusting their power on top of you. So you don't think that's being narcissistic abuse? Just for the fact that these people go out of their way to alienate you. Ever been in a family conversation and you think that your opinion matters just as much as everybody else's, but everybody's on the same page that you need to shut up? You haven't even got a word out your mouth. They're gonna stop you. As soon as they see you take that deep breath, you know nobody want to hear from you. You just keep it to yourself. That's a narcissistic dynamic, and a lot of people they suck it up. They wear it as a badge. I'm the black sheep of my family. But they don't understand why they're the black sheep of the family. Because they have to make sure that you don't share that dysfunction with the rest of the world. And I say this every time. Everybody's got a little dysfunction in their family. Let's be honest. Everybody's got a little dysfunction in their family. Okay? But there's certain ground rules that we actually adhere to. We take care of the children, the young ones, and the family. We're supposed to do that. You know, we support each other, especially during hard times. And I'm not talking about financially. We support each other. We help each other. We don't decide that one is more important than the other. It's all family. Narcissists don't look at it that way. Their main goal is to protect that thing that's called a mask. That is the version that they want the rest of the world to see. Again, it's a shame based thing. It's something that is so shame based where they feel that, hey, listen, and thank you, Supreme, for joining me. Um, I'm going back and forth because I'm here on this platform and I'm definitely here on TikTok. Yeah, it's so shame based that they will do anything, and the dysfunction is what brings the shame to the family. It's the dysfunction is so extreme that they can't let this get out. You know, it's like sometimes Jeffrey Dahmer extreme. You know, it's like I can't let this get out. You know, and you become a threat. When you figure out what's going on in your relationship and you come to the conclusion, well, this is, hey, that Mr. Robinson is right. This is narcissistic abuse. You know, once you come to that realization, the narcissist will become like a caged lion that hasn't eaten in days because they need to protect that mask. When you stop reflecting back what they are trying to make you reflect back, it causes them to panic. And then on top of that, in all of these dynamics, whether it be the workplace, whether it be the domestic relationship, whether it be the family relationship, okay, you're going to find that the narcissist near the end, they want you to be what they try to hide from the rest of the world. They try to manipulate you into always being angry, you into having no confidence. They want you to feel as if you have no value because that's how they feel within themselves. They always feel that within themselves. This is why they act the way they do. There's no confidence there. They don't have any confidence, but they put on a really good show. They put on really a good act. So all the things they're trying to destroy in you is because they don't have it in themselves. You know, your confidence, your ability to be friendly, your ability to love, your ability to reflect, your ability to have logic. They can't stand that shit. Your ability to be successful, your ability to think your way out of any situation. They don't have it. So they need to destroy it in you. I know it hurts. It hurts when you look at it this way. But like I said, go get a DSM-5. Go put break free. Go to any post that I have. I go through my posts all the time. If at the bare minimum to like someone's comment, just comment break free. Comment break free, and I'll send you whatever I have available. Not everything is freaking. There's a cost to it. I have like so much free stuff, you know, and for a limited time, I'm very proud of two things. Okay, this is for a limited time, and just because you're on this live, you get it. Okay, so for a limited time, I decided the freaking break the trauma bond in 7 steps. Okay, and the empath clarity sessions. Those are the live half an hour Zoom sessions. Okay, I cut those for a very limited time. I cut those because I want people to feel comfortable. And sometimes these conversations need to be initiated on a one-on-one basis. Okay, some people feel comfortable. I think these lives are to let people know that I've experienced this. I understand what you're going through. Okay, I want to help. I want to be of assistance. I don't want. It's getting nice out. It's almost summertime. I want you to go out there and enjoy yourself without anguishing over this person. Okay, I want you to be able to withdraw from this person. I want you to be able to comfortably go no contact. I want you to be able to come to the realization that this was a fantasy. That's what I want for you. Okay, so if you see anything, a post that resonates with you or anything, or even on this platform over here, if you see something that resonates with you, just put break free. I will send you everything that I have. If you want to take advantage of this, take advantage of that. Whatever works for you, whatever works to helping you be the best version of yourself. With that being said, I want to thank you guys for joining me. I'm going to go out there and kind of try to enjoy this day. So thank you very much. Keep healing, stay powerful. The reason why I do everything that I do, love you guys. Love you guys. Okay, so and now and